Hello and welcome to TheADshow. I'm your host, TheADshow, the greatest gamer of all time. And before we start today's anime, as we all know, the world is collected with many ignorances out there, thinking, overanalyzing, destroying today's society. But whatever. Speaking of destroying today's society, idiocracy comes in, along with a small bit of intelligence, in Uran Host Club.
This is ridiculous.
Kiss, kiss for love. Hey, hey, hey.
Ah, yes, high school was awesome. Everything from being kicked out of pot school, concussioning a midget, and even getting beat up for asking Ling Xiaoyu out. Yes, high school was great, especially in the pink frizzy school that is Uran Academy.
Get some fancy tuna here right now!
Add some deluxe sushi.
Damn these filthy rich jerks.
One day, student Haruhi Fujioka attends to his first day at Uran Academy, where he is then introduced to the trope characters of the twins, that guy with the glasses, the strong silent type, the cute little boy, and finally, Prince Charming.
You're the glasses character. You're the boy Lolita and the stoic type. Twin zest. And the bookworm.
He knocks over a case worth presumably
Bidding on that vase was supposed to start at 8 million yen!
What? 8 million yen?
So being in dead, Hari is forced to be a host just like them, which practically means being paid to charm women clamoring at your feet.
So he had this nightmare that made him bolt up right out of bed.
Hikaru, don't tell them that story. I asked you not to tell anyone that. Why are you so mean to me?
I'm sorry, Kaoru. I didn't mean to upset you. But you were so adorable when it happened I had to tell them. I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
I've never seen brotherly love quite like that.
What are they so excited about?
So the twist comes near the end of the pilot, in which Hari happens to be a chick. Yeah, I didn't call that one Einstein.
I brought you some towels. Haruhi,
Yeah?
so you're a girl?
Biologically speaking, yeah.
From then, it becomes a story of these characters as they pursue through hijinks, and you get your very basic and cliched episodes like the beach episode, or the Lost in the Mall episode. Now, Ouran Host Club glorifies itself in the cliches, from the one-dimensional hit characters, jokes, and the story.
Miss, it's a pleasure to meet you.
That was so cute! That air of bashfulness was very good! Super good, amazingly good!
Now, it isn't a bland generic anime like it's supposed to be parodying. The entire joke is that it's making fun of the whole harem culture and practically spelling out that yes, this is a cliche-ridden show, and you're an idiot for liking this. This is done with the protagonist Haruhi, who is really likable. She's smart, strong-willed, kind, witty, and can look out for herself. She actually represents the normal average person archetype, while at the same time she also resembles the audience that either dislike or at the very least are not into the whole harem genre. So yes, Haruhi is our supposed proxy, and acts basically how anyone would when it comes to meeting these strange characters, and that she's dumbfounded.
He's the king. His request rate is 70%.
What's this world coming to?
Wanna go hellfish hunting?
I think you're trying to say shellfish hunting. Being a host and getting fussed over by a bunch of girls might not be that bad. I wonder how I can pull it off. I've got it! I'll just call everyone dude and bro now.
Now, being a proxy, I don't know whether or not this is a character trait or just an intended portrayal of the audience, but her personality begins to dwindle down as being a stereotype in itself. This could be commentary on how audience for basically anything normally gravitate to whatever is the norm and plays along with it as time goes on, despite being eerie and tolerating whatever was happening when you first started.
But we have one ready for you, Haruhi. I think you'll like it. You and I are a pair.
No thanks.
Okay, Ouran Host Club is still a really silly show, having a weird cast of characters screwing around and over-amplifying situations that could be easily dealt with. The characters, although unlikable at times, are fun and on occasion be given some 3-dimension to them. My favorite episode would have to be the Alice in Wonderland parody, where the writers just have a blast and screw around with Haruhi, who, remember, is supposed to resemble us, as we get strange scenario after one another.
Huh? Banana?
Now, if you can't tell already, Ouran Host Club has a relatively cheap and uninspired design and animation, but it also uses this as an advantage. The same way Skull Rumble uses its limitations, Ouran Host Club relies on the charisma of its voice actors to carry the entire plot. Big ups for the English dub for Vic Nagna's role as Tamaki and Caitlin Glass's role as Haruhi, who apparently was also in Skull Rumble as a downplayed girl.
And then, once the sun has begun to set, Haruhi and I will take a romantic stroll along the shore together.
Oh wow, what a pretty sunset.
What's the matter with Tamaki? Is he having a seizure?
I wouldn't worry about it.
He gets like this occasionally.
So all in all, Ouran Host Club is a fun and witty show that can win over those who are not even into the whole meta of anime. We give it a 4 out of 5.
Really, it did? Let me teach you more, my friend.
Well, we got over that quick.
It's a good one. I liked it. You just saw it up in the 10 words. It was modern, which is what we all like. It was nice, gory, blood just splattered everywhere. It was genius, musically genius, sexy, emotional, neat, powerful, depressing in a way. Quite depressing actually, but good depressing. And you know what, last but not least, I will say the last to best. It was cozy. It was very bloody cozy. Seriously, I was just lying watching it, just like lying down and just thinking, this is cozy. It's relaxing. I'm glad to say it has made the anime league. It's up there, along with Attack on Titans. Them two just sat there. So you know what? I think them two will have to battle it out. Which one is probably the best out of them two? Who knows? Anyway, catch you later. Cheers. Bye.
That's just the reaction I was looking for!
As we all know, a man's mind overthinks and overanalyzes the world. And who better to do that than the man in Mind with Me?
With Halo 4 once again breaking numbers, let's look at one of the more technical masterpieces there are in gaming, in Halo Reach. My all-time favorite video game series is Halo, and why not? Since the first game, Halo Combat Evolved, the world that Halo created has nearly come to life with an epic trilogy of the badass super soldier that is Master Chief, fighting the Alien Covenant and the zombie species called the Flood, each game in the series being a Game of the Year quality. The franchise has hit milestones and revolutionized gaming forever. The story is about you assuming the role of Noble 6, the newest member of Noble Team. He's a quiet Spartan soldier who's never sent a single line of dialogue throughout the game, and along with Noble 6, you get to meet the rest of Noble Team, who really don't have that much dialogue and die one by one in a very short campaign. To those of you who said, you know what, Halo Reach is a pretty overrated game when it came out, you don't like gay people, shut up. The people who claim that are the same people who need to be shown something rather than look into it themselves. For instance, people want Noble Six to talk and bring about exposition instead of just doing his job. Newsflash, they're in a war. Gosh! Every member of Noble Team is there specifically to handle the Covenant. They didn't go there to make friends or brag about their childhood. In Afghanistan, or in the D-Day invasion of World War II, did the soldiers ever brag about their past history to the other hundreds of thousands of other soldiers? And even if they did, it would mean absolutely nothing because they're in war, you ignoramus. It's not about for yourself, it's all about fighting for a bigger cause. In Halo Reach, it's about the entire human race. And do you know how much of a distraction it would be if all the characters just stopped in place and started looking at the camera and talked about exposition? The game and story would lose any tension and seriousness. Plus, what these critics need to understand is why won't Noble Six talk? Well, Noble Six is a mute character because he's a character that has seen horrible shit in war. The guy has seen things and is in a state of shock. And since then, he's become a character who will look to finish the job rather than look out for himself. Why doesn't Noble Six question any orders from the squad leader? Well, it's because he's looking at the big picture of war and knows firsthand that speaking out hasn't ended well for him the first time through. So he won't do it the second time through Carter. It would be completely meaningless. Remember, you are looking into the eyes of Noble Six and seeing the sacrifices at first hand. You have to look beyond and think what is shown to understand. Look at their body movements. Look at their faces, look at how they interact with one another, and you will see that it's actually really intricate and deep. Look, they're not one-dimensional stereotype characters that most critics claim they are. Carter is a no-nonsense, battle-tested character who brings about leadership, experience, and knowledge to the team, inspires confidence in those under his command, cool under pressure. And since he and Second Command Cats are the only survivors of the original Noble Team, the guy understands the casualties of war, and knows that emotional attachments towards his new teammates would bring danger and is completely meaningless. This also goes for Kat, who's willing to sacrifice herself for the better good of mankind. This is explained when you realize that Kat has a bionic arm, and despite losing her real arm, she still wants to go in and fight. This shows tenacity and courage. Now the other three members also have very distinct personalities themselves. The marksman of the team is rock solid under pressure, better than he has any right to be, but at least he isn't cocky. Which is a good thing because he's also chatty. He's confident in himself and the others trust him. That shows character for all of Noble Team with the word respect. And you need to understand that when it comes to snipers, they all have the traits of discipline. And sorry if I pronounced this guy's name wrong, but Emil here has a reason for having the image of a skull on his helmet. This is a symbol of death, which is coherent that he's a character that wants to go and kill. He also understands his rules of the team and the circumstances of war. This is shown when he disapproves the notion of George helping out a weak girl, because that shows remorse and sympathy, and that is a trait that Emil has to let go, due to the experience and willingness to set aside any personal grievances. I know I've said the word discipline as a trait with all these characters had, George being the only one who truly shows remorse, sadness, and faith towards humanity. He's just a soldier with a pure heart and brings out his inner humanity more than others, which makes you give sympathy for the other character. And when they all died and sacrificed themselves, you realize that the Halo universe was larger than you thought, because Master Chief was not only fighting for Katana and the human race, he was also fighting for them. Those died on Reach. Without Noble Six, there would be no Master Chief or Katana. So understand all the shit they went through to make everything about Halo happen. You know, after this video, there will still be nerdy gamers out there that will constantly classify and prejudice gays and nerds everywhere. So remember, listen to me, because unlike you, I'm actually smart.
Hello and welcome once again to Wreck Dragon Reviews, and I am a huge Godzilla fan. In terms of movie appearances, Godzilla ranks right up there with characters like Tarzan, James Bond, and Zorro. And while we await the Big G's inevitable return, I feel it's only appropriate to honor the King of the Monsters in my own humble way. So today, I'm counting down my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies of all time. Number 10, King Kong vs. Godzilla. This movie is probably one of the most famous entries in the Godzilla franchise. Not only does it bring back Kong and Godzilla after many years hiatus, but this is the first time both are presented in color and in widescreen. The plot to this movie is that a television studio goes to Kong's island in order to use him as a mascot for their programming. I can't see this going awry. Of course, Kong escapes and starts to run amok in Japan. While this is going on, Godzilla also reemerges from an iceberg and goes on a rampage as well. Eventually, Kong and Godzilla meet up and have their ultimate showdown to be decided on the slopes of Mount Fuji. This movie is all kinds of fun and has good cheesy monster fights. It's also noteworthy in the fact that the composer, Akira Ifukube, presents the very first iteration of the classic Godzilla March theme. The human element in this is admittedly pretty weak and comes off as a cheap comedy, but it's still enjoyable in spite of that. King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Ha! King Kong can't make a monkey out of us.
Number 9, Godzilla vs. Destroya. This movie would mark the end of the second Godzilla series. And what bigger way to end it than by Toho killing off its most famous monster? The plot is that Godzilla has absorbed too much radioactive energy and is on the verge of meltdown. On top of that, you've got creatures running around created by the Oxygen Destroyer, the device that killed the original Godzilla in 1954. All the little destroyer creatures then merge into the title monster, Destroya, and fights Godzilla in his final battle. This would be the final movie that legendary Japanese composer Akira Ifukube would work on before officially retiring. The final scene where Godzilla dies is really sad and it almost brings you to tears. Little did we realize at the time what would come only a few years after this movie's release. Godzilla vs. Destroya.
I have a feeling this is going to be Godzilla's last fight.
Number 8, Godzilla Tokyo SOS. This movie is a direct sequel to Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Here's a brief summary to that movie. Japan finds the bones of the original Godzilla and builds a robot around them, thus creating Mechagodzilla, or Kiryu as he's called in this movie. And that's pretty much it. The previous movie is really more of a setup to this film. Tokyo SOS ups the ante by adding Mothra into the mix, and it's an all-out monster rumble. While the human element is also weak in this movie, the monster carnage more than makes up for it. Godzilla Tokyo SOS. Number 7, Godzilla vs. Biollante. Taking place 5 years after Godzilla 1985, this entry into the franchise often gets overlooked. The plot is that a scientist creates a muted plant by combining a rose with Godzilla cells, thus creating the monster Biollante. Godzilla also comes back and fights the mutated abomination. I think the reason why fans don't like this movie is because Biollante isn't one of the classic Toho monsters. But I honestly like it. It has some of the best monster and military action in the franchise. Plus, the human element is actually somewhat interesting, and the musical score? Well, it kind of reminds me of the John Williams music. Maybe composer Koichi Sugiyama was a fan of his. Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Our opponent will be the winner of that contest, sir.
Number 6, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. This was one of 3 Godzilla movies that was available at my local video store as a child, and to this day, I still love it. The plot is your standard Godzilla fare. Evil space aliens have come to take over the world using a monster as their weapon. However, the monster they're using is a mechanical version of Godzilla. Everything about this movie is awesome. The music, the cheesy special effects, and the great monster action. Even the human element is pretty interesting. Plus, this was the first introduction of Mechagodzilla, who would appear many more times throughout the franchise. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla.
You're mistaken if you think your powers are a match for Mechagodzilla.
Number 5, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. You're gonna have to bear with me here because the plot to this movie is a weird one. Godzilla has once again appeared in Japan, but this time he comes as the physical embodiment of all the souls who suffered at the hands of the Japanese during World War II. Told you it was weird. The only force capable of stopping Godzilla are the 3 legendary monsters who protect Japan. Baragon, Guardian of the Earth, Mothra, Guardian of the Water, and King Ghidorah, Guardian of the Sky. So yeah, the plot is pretty convoluted, but the monster scenes more than make up for it. Godzilla is especially intimidating in this one. He pretty much runs roughshod over the military and the other monsters. With some of the best effects in the series, this movie is a spectacle to behold. Giant Monsters All-Out Attack.
It's like a monster convention here.
Number 4, Mothra vs. Godzilla. I saw this movie as a child, and it still holds up pretty well today. The plot is that Mothra's egg washes up on the shores of Japan, and a business tycoon plans to use the egg as an attraction for his theme park. While this is going on, Godzilla returns once again, and of course, chaos ensues. With the military helpless before Godzilla, the Japanese ask for Mothra's help to defeat the radioactive behemoth. This movie really showed off just how indestructible Godzilla is. The military throws everything at him, including the kitchen sink, but nothing works. The fight with Mothra is great too, which is impressive given Mothra's limited offensive capabilities. Mothra vs. Godzilla.
Mothra, the mighty thing is going to die.
Number 3, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. This movie should really be called Godzilla Meets Back to the Future. People from the future appear and warn that Godzilla will destroy their country in the near future. Godzilla destroying Japan? No! So their solution is to go back in time and prevent Godzilla from ever being hit by the atomic bomb that mutated him. They accomplish this by teleporting Godzilla to the present time. However, the Futurians, and yes, that is their official title, replace Godzilla with their own monster, King Ghidorah. The Japanese decide the only way to fight King Ghidorah is to bring Godzilla back, and the monster mash ensues. This movie has phenomenal production values and is a great revival for Godzilla's most classic adversary. Definitely worthy in any fan's collection. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah.
You can tell your son about it when he's born. Major Spielberg?
Number 2, Godzilla 1985. This was one of the other Godzilla movies available at my local video store. When I first saw it, I was confused why he was a bad guy in this, but a good guy in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Well, thanks to the internet, I now know the reason. Godzilla 85 is a reboot that ignores all other Godzilla movies, save for the original. This movie brings Godzilla back to his roots as an unstoppable force of nature. The mood for this movie is dark and even sometimes scary. The soundtrack is also very eerie and helps to set the tone for this film. I honestly feel that Godzilla 85 is the true successor to the original, and is a must-see for any Godzilla fan. Godzilla 1985.
That's quite an urban renewal program they got going over there.
And my number 1 favorite Godzilla movie is the original Godzilla. I know it's an obvious pick, but how could I not go with it? This was the movie that started the Japanese monster craze. The tone and atmosphere was dark and was never truly duplicated by any other Godzilla movie, save for Godzilla 85. Godzilla is used as an allegory for the atomic bomb and its potential for misuse. While I normally scoff at this being overly preachy, I can accept it from the Japanese. After all, they witnessed the power of the A-bomb firsthand, so the Japanese having a negative view on nuclear weaponry is one I'm okay with. Better than some tree-hugging hippie who's never had any real adversity in his life. Oh, okay, I'm getting off topic. I would recommend seeing the original Japanese cut, not the American re-edit with Raymond Burr if you can. Godzilla.
Neither man nor his machines are able to stop this creature.
So that's my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies, and... crap, it's Godzilla. Launch the Super X!
This is the end of the show, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to watch us and the RPG Fanatic. So until next time, see you.
Oh, sweet, the power's back on. Well, screw you guys, I'm out of here. Damn. One day, new student Haruhi Fujioki? What the fucking name's Fujiaka? What the fuck name's Fujiaka? My goodness, fuck. One day, new student Haruhi Fujioka attends to his... fuck you guys. I swear to God, what kind of... The story is about you assuming the role of Noble 6, the newest member of Mono... Fuck, I swear to God. Honestly, Hillary sucks so much balls. I can't believe I can't even say, like... I can't even say this with a straight face without sounding like a pompous bitch. This also goes for Cat, who's willing to set... Fuck, I got a message. Oh, Tyler messaged me. About right there. Yo, Tyler, woo, awesome. My line, I screwed up my line and I forgot where I am. The marksman of the team is rock solid under pressure. Better than he has the right to be. He's just a soldier with a pure heart and brings about his inner humanity more than honor. Honors? What the fuck is an honor? God. He's just a soldier with a pure heart and brings about his inner humanity more than honors. I said unders again. I will kick someone's ass right now. Damn it.